Hey, it's Monday afternoon, and we have some pretty quiet weather shaping up across Alabama for the next few days. This is a look at the radar right now, WVTM 13 live Doppler. Things are really, really quiet around here, but look up north. Good gracious, May 1st, and we've got snow in the UP of Michigan up here and into parts of Wisconsin and even the lower peninsula. This is a really, really cold system and lots of rain surrounding it, even a little bit of a mixed precipitation down west of Detroit and north of Indianapolis. That system is part of a big upper air storm system that's positioned over the southeastern part of Canada, and because of the wind around it, it's dragging cold air southward from Minnesota and from southern Canada into Alabama, and it's also keeping it very, very dry. The darker colors here representing all the dry air, and that's why the sky has been so crystal clear blue around here for the last 24 hours when you've been able to see it from among the puffy cumulus clouds that developed overhead, especially on Sunday. So here's what happens, though, in the next few days, and here's where things start to change for us. Humidity will be on the way back. In the short term, we've got the dry air that's coming in from the north, but watch what's going on out here over parts of Texas and Louisiana. It's called the return flow, and ultimately there's an area of high pressure situated right about here that starts to make a break for the East Coast. And if you think about a high, the way it rotates, it's almost like a wheel, so that on the back side of the wheel, as it rides through the mud or gravel or whatever, it's throwing whatever it's into behind it. So that's essentially what the return flow is. The wheel makes its way off the East Coast, and here you have it. All the humidity is back, and all indications are that the nice, cool, dry air that we have in place right now across the South may be one of, if not the final breaths of fresh air that we will have until maybe September or October. Yes, it's true. We do get some isolated pockets of cooler air that come south even into June and sometimes July that knock the humidity out. But often, once we get into May and this kind of pattern sets in, it's just into it, into summertime, full steam ahead. So rain chances with the humidity low, and this is for Alabama only, for Huntsville, for the Shoals, for Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston to Montgomery. No rain on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Friday, we start getting into a situation where some showers and thunderstorms may be a little bit more common. In fact, watch this. This is the GFS forecast model. It's projecting quite a bit of rain in spots, and you got to remember the GFS has really, really big grid points. So it's not able to see individual thunderstorms, but what it sees here, like you look at that spot in Wilcox County and the one in Bibb County and this action up here toward the Shoals and down in Washington County, and then you can see through the shadow there into Mississippi and then back toward Memphis. What this model is seeing is clusters of daily thunderstorms developing. So they become more likely in South Alabama, parts of northwest Alabama, northern Mississippi, and then look over here toward East Alabama. There's just not a lot of action in DeKalb or Cherokee or Cleburne or even Calhoun or Etowah counties. And the farther southeast you go, you're closer to an area of high pressure. So it's going to stay drier over here to the east, wetter and potentially stormier at times to the west. But we are moving into that time of year where we get away from talking about a severe weather threat so much and talking more about daily showers and thunderstorms. Low temperatures tonight. This is for Monday night into Tuesday morning. Still a lot of 30s and 40s around north and central Alabama. And then we warm it back up a few degrees above where we were on Monday for Tuesday afternoon. Mainly upper 60s and lower 70s. But things are going to be changing for us. And as we look down the road here, we warm up some and we start getting that humidity in here so that by Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday, these are not all-day rainy kind of days. It's not days where everybody's going to get wet, but because we're adding instability to the mix. And here's Friday. This is 8 p.m. Friday. Look how unstable it is over here around Arkansas and Texas and into parts of West Tennessee. In central Alabama, there's not a lot here. So our chance of a thunderstorm on Friday is actually pretty small. There might be some showers, might be some storms now and then. But then on Saturday, boy, we start adding the fuel, and where there is fuel and where there's just a little chance of a storm developing. If there's anything around to fire it, it could be pretty heavy on Saturday. Same kind of deal on Sunday. If storms do develop, they could fire up and get pretty heavy. In fact, we're getting into that time of year right now. And I want to show you this from the Storm Prediction Center. We're getting into the time of year where we start to look for a lot more severe thunderstorms, not necessarily tornadoes. This is any severe probability whatsoever within 25 miles of a point. Now, obviously, Oklahoma and Texas and Kansas, northwest Arkansas, southwest Missouri, that's the hot spot these days. But watch what happens across Alabama and Tennessee and into the Carolinas. Through mid to late May, we actually start to see the risk of severe weather, especially near the Cumberland Plateau in Tennessee and over in the mountains of North Carolina, South Carolina, North Georgia. We start to see the risk of severe thunderstorms expanding. That's because we are moving into the summertime thunderstorm regime. So the northeast part of Alabama into Georgia and the Carolinas, just as much of a hot spot as the Central Plains for severe weather, but it's not because of tornadoes. This is what the tornado outlook would look like in that same time frame. Watch this. So we go from practically the peak of tornado season here over the past couple of weeks to hardly anything through June. But as we look at wind, that's where we start to really see some issues. Over the mountains of northeast Alabama through Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and even across central Alabama too, the wind really starts to pick up with these thunderstorms because of what we call downbursts. And the downbursts are just cold air aloft that the thunderstorm can't support anymore. It made all this rain-cooled air. It was supporting it with a really strong updraft because of the hot, humid air, but eventually that gives out. It collapses. That's the kind of thing that very well may be in the cards for us in the weeks ahead. So starting Friday into Saturday, isolated storms, not raining all day. Sunday, Monday, maybe a bit better chance of some thunderstorms. But regardless, enjoy this last little breath of cool weather because it sure looks like summertime is going to be upon us here in Alabama very, very soon.